and then I put a hot water bottle on it.
Took some ibuprofen.
Okay,
Laid down.
always works.
Yeah. As I said to Lisa, I should be in intensive care. I'm
So
I'll
hard.
push on through.
fucking
So
hard.
hard, isn't it? It's quite a commitment, though, isn't it? Yellow.
Are you ready?
Ready?
Emma, our guest, are you ready?
Yes, professional head on.
Semi-professional head on.
We all look fantastic. Shall we begin?
Let's do it, baby.
Hello and welcome to another episode of We're Not Getting Any Younger with me in a lot of pain, but I'm still here, hard as nails, Andy Goldstein.
He is a rock star. He's made
Yeah.
it from his deathbed into the studio today.
Yeah.
We're lucky to have him, and I'm Lisa Snowden. Hello.
Yes. Hello to you. And hello to our guest. Our guest today is a menopause nutritionist. But what is a menopause nutritionist? Is it different to just a nutritionist? And has there ever been an opening to a podcast where the word nutritionist is used 4 times? I don't think so. Here to answer some of those questions and many, many more you guys have taken the time to send in is Emma Bardwell. Hello, Emma.
Hello, nice
How
to be
are
here.
you?
I'm very good, thanks.
I think that is probably the world record for using the word nutritionist.
I'm going to say it one more time. She's a registered nutritionist.
Thank you, Lisa.
So, you know, it's for men and for women, but one of Emma's sort of speciality chosen areas is midlife and menopause and perimenopause, right?
Yeah, so I think, just to sort of caveat that, there is lots of people who say they are nutritionists, right? And you can, I don't know, do like a kind of week-long course. So if you're registered, it means you have an accredited body and you're evidence-based and all of that jazz.
And how long does it take you to get your...
It took me about 4 years.
Really? It's that long?
So I retrained.
Okay.
Yeah.
I've got a question, actually. Do we start the podcast the way we always start the podcast?
I mean, it's always good to delve in and ask Emma how old she is, because
Okay.
that's how we start it always with all of our guests.
You can ask. I hate asking.
Yeah, I
that
know,
question.
it's tricky. So, Emma Bardwell, how old are you, if you don't mind us asking?
So this is funny because I knew you were going to ask me this.
She's done her research.
I know. I always add on a year. So about 6 months after each birthday, I add on the year. So, I have been saying that I'm 53 for quite some time. I'm actually 52, but I do turn 53 next week.
Why'd you do that?
Just to take the edge off, to kind of
prepare yourself.
Yeah, start getting my head around it.
Oh, wow.
And it's also better
That's deep. to get ready for it.
Yeah,
Why don't
I'm
you say you're
preparing.
70?
Embracing
Why don't you say you're
myself.
70, get ready for that one.
Yeah, well, yeah. Let's not go too far.
That is kind of... I mean,
That
also...
answers the next question then.
Well, it's going to be an interesting answer to this question because you're prepared for that age-ish, even though you're not there yet. So is that old?
So, no, I don't think it is. I think that, as somebody very clever has said recently in a book, I feel like I'm just getting started, right?
She's
that you? Is that you?
I love you.
Is that the first time you've been quoted from your book?
Yes.
That's
Just
cool.
getting started, baby. Come on, tell me more.
Well, I do. I think that I just said, that it was a career change for me. And that happened when I was 40. So in many ways, I think, your 40s onwards is a real chance to kind of take the bull by the horns, do different things, live life, do all those things that you wanted to do, but maybe didn't have quite the confidence to do when you were younger. So I think it's a hard one, isn't it? I think getting older is obviously a huge privilege, but I do find it quite hard to kind of deal with the aches and the pains and the grey pubes and do you know what I mean? It's that side of it I am still struggling with.
What I like about that is you looked at me when you said aches and pains, but not grey pubes.
I looked at Lisa
Right, okay.
for the grey pubes.
So pleased you didn't look at me then.
She looked blank though, so she was.
I was like, poker face, poker face, poker face. What grey pubes?
It's a serious question. I had no idea that we get grey pubes.
You get
Oh,
grey
come
everywhere.
on.
Well, I swear to God.
So you obviously haven't got.
Well, look,
any.
I've got none up there. We won't go on about my hair, but I've got none up there. But I didn't know that was a thing.
It happens. Trust me.
Wow.
Everywhere, everywhere.
Well, not everywhere. I
You
mean,
lose the pigment in your hair, in your eyebrows, eyelashes, beard, wherever it may be. Facial hair for us ladies too.
Yep.
I've got
white
I've got a little
eyebrows.
white one here that keeps coming
What,
back.
beard?
Yeah, I've got a little rogue hair.
Have you?
And do you get it?
I get it. It's so satisfying. It's really wiry and.
Must be horrible being a woman sometimes.
Yeah, I mean,
I'll tell you why I
I'd
say
always
that.
come back as a woman if I had the chance, though.
We-
If given the option, would you?
I'll
Emma?
tell you what I say
absolutely.
that. Us men, we can look a state and it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
We do. I mean, men predominantly are just. We don't look after ourselves anywhere near as much as you women. You women always look great. We look a little. Sometimes I'll be out shopping and I'll see a guy in a manky old tracksuit, manky old top, and trainers at about 5 years, and I'll look at his girlfriend or his wife, and she'll look immaculate. All right. I just think there's so much pressure on women to look great all the time.
Maybe we put it on ourselves. I don't know.
I mean, I liked. It always makes me feel better in myself.
Yeah.
You know, if you're feeling a bit poorly or you're having a kind of duvet day or something, I think it's always good to get up, get showered, get dressed, put a little bit of makeup on. It can really kind of change how you feel.
Yeah.
You know,
I look rough a lot of the time, though.
You don't.
I do.
You do?
I really do. And you kind of embrace that. I think there is a certain thing of like, I am getting older and I do have to kind of come to terms with it a bit, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I don't go to the supermarket with a face full of makeup. I met you yesterday. I had no makeup on whatsoever.
I know, you embarrassed me. You look terrible. But bizarrely, as the more I drunk, the better you got.
Oh, I see. Thank you.
Beer does that, I think.
Yeah.
I didn't know you had no makeup. I could never tell when women have got no makeup on.
Oh, that's
You
a
didn't
good
have any
sign.
yesterday.
That's a great sign.
Yeah. So let's talk about. So you had a career change in your 40s then, and that was due to was it personal reasons?
Yeah, so I worked in advertising and I got made redundant. So I was like, okay, this is my time to totally pivot and do the thing that I'd wanted to do for ages. So I'd been doing short courses probably from my 20s onwards. And yeah, I was like, yeah, let's do it.
So it gave you a massive kick up the bum.
It was scary. It really was.
Yeah.
Cost a shitload of money, 4 years, so quite a lot of time. But yeah, it was definitely worth it. And now I feel like I am, doing the thing that I was supposed to do.
Do mostly women come to you or lots of men too?
Mostly women.
Is it mostly
I'm going to
women?
be honest. Yeah. But they will often they will come first and then they will get their husbands, partners, brothers, whatever.
Everybody involved?
Yeah.
On the link that you sent me about you, it says that you are a menopause nutritionist. And I just assumed that a nutritionist is a nutritionist.
Yeah, exactly, they are. But I just have
Okay.
a special interest in women's health, particularly in menopause. So I guess that comes from the fact that when I did retrain, I was 42. I was very much perimenopausal and wasn't really getting the information and the kind of help that I needed. And I saw this massive gap. And when I decided to kind of niche, because you all sort of niche in a certain area, people were like, what on earth are you doing? That's just so unsexy that, that's just such a weird thing. And obviously now it's totally taken off. So I've been banging on about menopause for a long time. So when it started to kind of gain the traction that it has, I'm obviously delighted. And, we've got lots of people talking about it. So it's just going from strength to strength.
Your book was one of the first ones, The Perimenopause Solution with Dr. Shazadi Harper.
Well, yeah, nobody talked about perimenopause
No,
even,
didn't even exist that word.
Yeah.
I really don't think it did because I used to type it into my phone and it would auto-correct it. It did not
So
know
Pull yourself together, woman. Was that the autocorrect?
I hate you.
Just get outside. Get some fresh air in your lungs. Get on with life. Is that what that's a big old autocorrect?
He's got a really
not
bad
very
back.
supportive, is he?
No, I could really cause you some even more harm than you're already feeling right
I mean,
now.
so much, but laughing helps. So
Does
if you
it?
want to stop me laughing, you are effectively making the pain worse. So would if a guy came to see you, would you approach his nutrition needs differently to if a woman came?
It depends what it was. So a lot of people come to me for weight loss advice, and that essentially is exactly the same. Doesn't matter if you're menopausal, if you're male, female. It is all about. This is controversial for some people. I don't know why, but it's about getting in a calorie deficit. There isn't any
Of course.
clever kind of weird
Eat less,
thing
move more.
that nobody knows. But it's. Yeah, it does boil down to that, but I think that's just not very helpful, is it? Because
No.
it's easy, or it's simple, but it's not easy.
Yeah.
So
Well, we put out on our social media that you were coming in, and honestly, never had so many questions from men and from women, like inundated with questions about food, nutrition, trying to lose belly fat, fasting. There were so many, and everything that I know that you're going to answer today. We won't get through every question, but there were some really interesting ones from both men and women. So that's
Okay,
where it's going to be
great.
helpful for everybody today.
Can I ask, because since doing this podcast with Lisa, I've learned so much, right? We had Dr. Jeff
Foster.
in, who was explaining to me for the first time about men in theory can go through menopause, their testosterone levels can drop, and it can mirror some of the symptoms that women have. Nutrition is going to be a big part of giving men and women a lot more energy, because a lack of energy is something that both would suffer from, right?
yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think we need to be clear that food is not going to replace hormones. And I think there's a lot of chat on social media, particularly about hormone balancing diets. I think it even came up in one of the questions.
Yeah, because I pinged you over some of them.
It's like, well, sorry, it's just not that simple. If it was, we wouldn't need HRT.
Yeah.
So we need to kind of keep a sensible head on it, and also kind of bear in mind that there are 50 plus hormones. We're not just talking about estrogen, testosterone, progesterone. And when people talk about hormone balancing diets, it's like, well, which hormones are you talking about?
So talk about the other one. So there's,
Are they going up? Are
There's
they going down?
cortisol is a hormone.
Yeah, insulin. Oxytocin. It also kind of
Thyroid.
crosses
Is that a hormone?
cortisol.
Yeah.
Thyroid. All of those things, and it is a really complex subject. Endocrinologists obviously do this day in, day out. For your average person, or like an Instagrammer who is kind of promoting this balancing diet, it's outside their jurisdiction. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, they're
So
not
you can-
qualified to do that at all.
Yeah,
so beware.
Yeah, exactly. You can give people the raw ingredients, so to answer your question, to make those hormones and to feel better. But yeah, you've got to keep a kind of sensible head on.
So would you do, if you had, so say Andy came to you, would you do blood tests first to see where he's at everywhere? Would that like a good blood panel just to kind of get a really overall idea of his health and where he's at?
Yeah.
Is that the first stage?
It is. I get people to do that before they come and see me because it just saves a lot of time. Because if they are saying that their hair's falling out or they are, their skin's really itchy, they're really knackered, they are putting on weight, it could just be, not just, but it could be that they've got some kind of thyroid dysfunction. And actually getting that panel done, just kind of, instantly, we know that we can focus on that. And if it's a perimenopausal woman or a menopausal woman, those two things can quite easily cross over. So lots of those symptoms of low thyroid actually are the same for perimenopause and menopause. Anxiety, weight gain.
Do men struggle with thyroid?
Yeah, they do.
Do they?
Yeah, not as much as women. It's an autoimmune condition and women do tend to have more autoimmune
And you have
conditions.
underactive and overactive.
Yeah.
And overactive means that you everything speeds up and you lose weight effectively. And the opposite, underactive, is you start to gain weight.
Yeah,
Okay.
so overactive.
Sorry, how do you know which one people have got when you're speaking to them?
So the blood panel would have shown that.
Oh, I see, right,
Yeah,
okay.
yeah. You would have either
And then
high
you
or low
write out
levels.
like a meal plan effectively accordingly to...
So with thyroid, it would need to be treated. If it was Graves' disease or Hashimoto's, which is high and low, and it's autoimmune, that would need to be treated with medicine. And then I would work alongside them to,
And when you say treated, is it like a balance? Is it exactly the same?
It's
Like you've got to get the
thyroxine.
levels-
Yeah, and it's a
Okay.
bit like HRT. You need to play around with your dose quite a lot. It isn't always a quick fix. There's a bit of trial and error that goes on because hormones are tricky.
Yeah.
And lots of other things affect them, like lifestyle, stress.
Cortisol, massive.
Yeah.
So when your cortisol's high,
What would make your cortisol go high?
it's, long-term stress or short-term stress, but it's the long-term kind of chronic stress that most of us worry about.
So blood pressure will be affecting that?
Yep.
Right, okay.
Potentially. Yeah, lots of things. So when your cortisol's high, quite often your sex hormones particularly can be low because obviously your body is just not prioritising getting, reproducing, that kind of thing.
Is there a way to tell if you're in a really high state of stress and cortisol, like just by sort of looking? Because I know that I don't know, is it the way your body's storing fat potentially? Is it panicky? I don't know. Are there any other sort of symptoms that somebody might be like, actually, I might just be like my adrenal glands are right, flex to the max, and my cortisol levels are super high? Is there any way to kind of work that out on your own?
I think it's much better just to go with your symptoms. And once you do, like I do quite an involved consultation with people, so up to an hour and a half, you would know from their lifestyle and what they're telling you that their cortisol is high. But you can test it. The cortisol awakening response, it should be high first thing in the morning, so it will come up high. But if it doesn't then go up and down, or if it doesn't go down, then you would know.
Right.
But those kind of tests aren't readily available you've got to pay for them, and they're usually quite expensive.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah. So talking about your lifestyle would be really helpful.
Yeah.
And then there are, there's ways to manage it, not particularly through food, but I think better through lifestyle. So things like meditation, all the stuff that you're really into, getting outside.
Breath work.
Yeah.
Slowing everything down.
Talking about it,
Yeah.
getting therapy, whatever it is, but kind of getting to that root cause, I think, is important, rather than chucking things like ashwagandha and stuff like that at it. Because actually a pill isn't really going to suffice if you've got this hideous boss that's making your life miserable and has been for the last 12 months, you know?
You can't just take some powders in a smoothie
Yeah,
and it's going to make
unfortunately.
everything else go away.
Yeah.
Yeah, you've got to get to the root cause of the problem. Okay.
Can I just ask, before we go through some of the
Yeah.
questions, and by the way, a big thanks to everyone that's taken the time to send them in. Just a bit more about you, like your when you get up in the morning, what time are you getting up? What are you eating? What are you having breakfast? Do you drink? Do you smoke?
I used to smoke. I haven't done for a long time.
Why'd you stop?
Because it was making me feel really awful.
Okay.
Yeah.
How long ago did you stop?
Oh my God. Spanish Inquisition.
How long ago? We demand answers on this.
I probably had a cheeky 1 or 2 in my 40s, but you know, essentially
I know there's a spotlight
stopped.
on you, but you're not actually being interrogated here.
I'm getting really red. I think I probably stopped in. Oh well, I know it was when I was trying to get pregnant, so 35, early 30s.
Oh, okay, a long time ago then.
Yeah, yeah.
No, but I mean, what I mean is, sometimes I've asked that question to people, and they go, "I now vape," and I wondered
yeah.
if you stopped when vaping was a thing.
No,
Okay.
no, it's not.
What time do you get up in the morning?
So I go to bed early and I get up early. So I'd say 6:30-ish.
What time you go to bed? Lisa's an early sleeper.
9:30.
What about food? What are you having for breakfast?
So I am having. Well, if you look on my Instagram, you would have somebody actually mentioned there's a lot of dairy in her breakfast.
You've got a great Instagram. All of your food recipes are so inspiring. They get like millions of views. They're
Thank
gorgeously
you.
shot. Do you do it all yourself?
I do, yeah.
Very good.
Sometimes get my kids to like edit them.
They're great.
But they moan. They
Always
moan a lot.
Get your kids to
But
edit
there's
it.
really good breakfast ideas on there.
Thank you. My go-to is Greek yogurt. I love it. So, but you know, you're supposed to kind of keep things nice and fresh and versatile and diversify. So I will have a big, 150, 200 gram portion of Greek yogurt. And then I will add in my seeds and my berries and, a splash of maple syrup, some oats, potentially chia, ground flax.
Wow.
So every day it looks different, but essentially it's the same, it's a rinse and repeat because nobody's got that much time in the morning.
I don't have breakfast.
Controversial.
I know.
Yeah, is that
know.
bad?
George
I go to
doesn't
the gym in
either.
the morning. I'll have about 1.5 litres of water while I'm at the gym,
Christ.
and then I will get into work for about 2, and I'll have lunch then.
Okay. Well, I think a lot of people feel better when they train fasted, right? And I guess that's you.
I don't like to eat before I've
I
worked
don't.
out.
Well, I wouldn't eat before or after.
Yeah, okay. No, if that's how you were, if that's how you
It's
roll,
frowned
and
upon, right?
you what?
It's frowned upon.
There's different thoughts, aren't there? With
Yeah.
like that window that you've got to eat within. Is there any like truth in that, Emma?
Yeah, I think that men tend to tolerate this kind of fast a lot better than women do. I think our hormones potentially make our blood glucose kind of regulation be a little bit more sensitive.
Oh God, I'm so sensitive these days. To
Yeah.
it. Like
Yeah.
George can just fast all day.
Or if we can say something else.
He can fart all day too. He can fart all day and all night, annoyingly. But fasting, apparently, he's got good metabolic flexibility. Is that what it's called when you can fast?
I mean, some people would say that you can then tap into carbs, you can tap into your fat sources. I think probably it does work better for men, potentially. I think for especially perimenopausal women, when you're in that kind of hormonal flux, it can make you incredibly irate, angry, anxious.
Bit dizzy.
Yeah.
Dizzy, bit sick, bit nauseous, a bit like I'm spinning out. And it's like, pull yourself
no good.
together. But I've got quite low blood pressure.
Yeah.
So I think that fasting and low blood pressure isn't great. And I think us ladies need to it's not one size fits all with the fasting. It's not like going to get a medal if you have your last meal at 6:00 in the evening and then you don't eat again till midday the next day. That's a long time to not eat.
Yeah.
And you start getting the shakes. And I think that there's some people that say you should have protein as soon as you wake up. You're probably into that, yeah?
I am quite. But
Yeah.
it doesn't have to be straight away. I think you have to, it's horses for courses. I think you have to tap into what your own body and what works for you. For me, that is personalised nutrition.
Yeah,
You know?
yeah.
Nobody knows your body better than you do. So if that works for you, great.
There
Don't
seems
change
to
it.
be, my last question, we'll go on to everyone else's. There seems to be a fad at the moment, which is like 7-day fasting, just water.
Oh man,
Have you seen
who
these?
wants to do that?
Oh, okay. Have you seen these?
Yeah, like extreme extended
Apparently it's
fasting.
meant to reset your, I don't know, whatever, meant to be amazing for you.
I think you will find that the research doesn't really support those kind of extended fasts, and there's a lot of talk of things like autophagy, which is where when you're fasting and you're not constantly kind of grazing and eating, your body starts to kind of recycle all these senescent, which basically means old cells that otherwise might potentially, get damaged and turn into cancer or something like that. So there is...
That's what I've heard.
Yeah.
What you've described, I could never describe it like that, but that's exactly what I've heard.
But most of those studies have been done in rats and mice. They haven't been done on humans. So I think potentially in the future we might get more towards, giving out blanket advice but I still think 7 days is
too long. Maybe
insane.
3.
Well,
Or a day.
What?
I quite like to do it.
Do it for a day.
Try it and see how you feel, but there's no way that after a day you would be able to tell if it.
No, I need to do at least 5 days, right?
And then still go to work and still function.
I think I have to because I need to take my mind off it.
Yeah, but you wouldn't be able to have coffee.
No.
That would kill you.
Oh, okay.
Really?
Yeah. When we went for that Neco scan the other day,
Yeah.
you said to me, "Not good for you. You won't have your coffee in the morning." I was like, "No, it's fine. I don't. I mean, I have an espresso every single morning.
Yeah.
I don't rely on it. I don't start screaming the house down if we run out of capsules.
And by the time you eat at 2, how do you feel? You
Absolutely
ready?
fine. No, I could go another hour, 2 hours without it.
Okay, you're pretty lean.
Thank you. I'm eating because it's lunchtime.
Okay, so you just don't have that food noise that lots of people do, right? That I think
Maybe.
You don't have much food noise. You're quite good like that.
Yeah.
Like
I
if
have
we go-
wine noise
Oh yeah,
and I have Guinness noise.
it's loud, isn't it?
Yeah. Oh my god. I can hear it calling now.
1 o'clock. Yeah, it's tricky. I think it's like you've got to figure out what your body likes and what it doesn't. And if you're starting to get really shaky
Yeah.
and really weak and you're getting headaches and stuff, you probably need to eat.
And also, just to finish off on the fasting, there is a lot to be said for having a kind of 12, 14-hour overnight fast. So finishing, I don't know, 7, 8 p.m.
Yeah.
and then carrying on through till 10 or whatever. And most of the research kind of points to the fact that even like restricting your calorie intake has the same benefits as a fast. So there isn't anything magical about fasting. Do you see what I mean?
Yeah.
It's not like it's a magic weight loss tool. It literally just helps you to get into that calorie deficit. And for some people, it works really well, taking away breakfast or potentially taking away dinner and starting earlier. Because actually, there's quite a lot of research now to say as well that you are much more insulin sensitive in the mornings. So actually, you tolerate your carbs and your meals basically a lot better in the morning.
And then everything slows down at night and it's best to just have a bit
so
of
you're
a
kind
break.
of in you're in tune with your circadian rhythm a bit more.
I prefer to eat like that. I prefer just to get it all in the day and
Yeah.
then slow down at night. And
You're going to bed at 6 p.m.
I know I don't eat sometimes in the evenings.
get it in.
No, I don't. I don't eat sometimes in the evenings. Or I'll eat at 5 o'clock. Done.
Yeah. It
Yeah,
can
but
be a bit antisocial if you've got kids and partners and whatever.
Or just a life.
Yeah.
You don't have a
Well, there
life.
is
You don't
that.
have a life. They're like, do you want to come out for dinner?
Sorry, I'm
like,
done.
Your wife's invited me out for dinner. I can't do it. It's at 7:30.
It's too late.
It's too late.
Go around Lisa's with a pizza. He happens to do with her pyjamas on.
It's pathetic.
I'm with you.
But that's how I've lost weight. That is.
Is it?
I have had to do that.
You have lost, but this is in a good way. You have lost bundles of weight. There was nothing for you to lose.
Well, thank you
right?
for saying
but
that.
you do look fantastic.
But when I had that eureka moment when I finally jumped on the scales when I was at a hotel in Paris because I didn't own scales before that, and I was 13.5 stone, and I was like, holy shit, how did
should
that
you be?
happen? 10 and a half, something like that. I mean,
You're very tall, aren't you?
yeah.
you are
but
7
not
foot
13
2, aren't you?
and
A
a
lot of people
half.
can't see because you're sitting down. But
That was quite a lot, and it didn't. All my clothes didn't fit me. I mean, I should have known. I'd be like, oh, I just put a different. No. I was in a room full of piles of
you
clothes.
should have known, yeah.
I was like, well, that's too small, and that's too small. I was ignorantly just happy and blissful, and then I was like, this is not good. My leather skirt, rather than being down here, was like I couldn't
belt.
get.
Yeah.
It was a belt. Chuck it away. So anyway, that calorie deficit I think is really good, and I think you need to find out what works for you.
And how did you do it though? What was your thing? Did you stop snacking?
Yes, snacking. So I try to have 5 hours in between my meals.
yeah.
So it's like so I'd have my breakfast and then I'd try and calculate 5 hours before I have lunch. And it was food choices as well. More water and better quality food.
Yeah.
And then what I was doing is if I don't eat enough protein, then I'm just ravenous in the evening or in the afternoon and I'll just eat a packet of biscuits. So that has to go.
and you train a lot.
I train a lot. I train every day if I can.
Yeah.
Weight training has helped because it's obviously
Yeah.
building muscle, burning fat and helping my bones.
Did you do that before?
I did it a little bit, but I really
You've cranked it up.
I've cranked it up.
Yeah.
I'm really into, and I think Pilates on the Reformer is really good as well.
Amazing.
Jesus Christ, it's hard work.
Yeah, it really is.
But it hits
It's like
different.
a torture bed, isn't it?
It is quite torturous, especially if you get like a really
need to get into
yeah.
that.
Honestly, you
So good for backs.
you've got to calm.
Which is, I'm not bendy at all.
Don't need to be bendy for
No,
that.
no, I'm saying I'm not though. I'm not, but I should be. Because
Oh,
I think when you
will
get
make you
older,
bendier.
one of the biggest problems I think when you get older is losing muscle in your legs and your joints and not being able to bend and move. And you hear so many people, they fall over waiting for a bus. No, seriously, they do, right? And then I read a stat. I don't have it in front of me, but it's something like I don't know this stat, but you're 80% more likely to die in the first year if you've had a hip replacement.
Yeah,
something like that,
yeah.
right? It's something.
Seriously?
It's absolutely,
Yeah. So
Because you lose your mobility.
yeah, and then everything just. I don't have the stat in front of me. Google it, everyone.
Oh my God, that's
But
terrifying.
for me, it's the lower part of my body's as important as the top half. Although
Yeah, I mean, you've got to work it all out. Well, he's saying that he doesn't do leg day usually at the gym, so
Do you not?
he's starting to.
I
He's
think
starting,
firstly, snitches get stitches. Let's
Snitches.
put that out there.
Anyway, so let's go back to the questions again. As Andy said, thank you for sending them in. So we've kind of tapped on fasting. So not one size fits all. Find out what works for you, but try not to snack. And if you want to have 3 meals a day, spread them out.
And make them big. Like you said, big, robust, protein-based.
Yeah, lots of eggs.
Fill
and
yourself up and then you
fish
don't need to eat constantly in between.
What about moving on into carbohydrates then within those portions of food? Because everybody's like, oh, carbs are bad. That was another question. Carbs, low carb diets, low carb to lose weight.
So, carbs really do. They need a new kind of PR person behind them, don't they? I think when most people say that carbs are bad, what they're actually talking about is junk food, quote unquote. They're talking about pizzas. Pizzas aren't carbs, they are carbs and fats. So I think it needs, if we're talking carbs as in grains, like quinoa and brown rice and, all of that stuff. It's amazing. It's full of B vitamins, really full of fibre. So if you are going down the low-carb route, then you are invariably going to be quite low in fibre. And we know that fibre is really, really important. We are getting about 16 grams a day. In the UK, we should be getting 30.
That's
so we need
a lot.
to
We're
double
half
that.
of what we need to be.
Yeah.
And is that because of the low carbs, or is it just because we're just not educated enough on fibre?
Yeah, I think it's both. I think fibre is really unsexy. People think of all bran and sort of
Getting gas,
beige foods. Yeah, farty, windy. Lots of people try beans, can't tolerate them, so then they're like, oh no, I can't do that. So then they steer clear of them. And then the more you kind of omit a food, when you do try it, your gut bugs can't break it down. So yeah, they are essentially being starved.
So if you are, say for example, I make like a hummus or I'm doing like a chickpea dish or something, and I'm like, God, Jesus, it's got loads of gas. That's because I haven't had it for a while. If I keep having it, that will die down a bit. So we'll be a bit more sociable. I won't be so farty.
Only
bad.
then.
Just
am I
stay
coming
inside.
over.
So you just need, your gut just needs to get used to it.
Absolutely.
Push
Needs
through.
to adjust.
Let me just ask, because there'll be a lot of people listening to this that don't have time to make any meals, okay? And they will go into their local supermarket and they'll get stuff, either ready meals or buy stuff off the shelf. How do they cope? Or what should they be looking for? Because it's so easy just to get a ready meal, stick it in the microwave, and 3 minutes later you got your dinner.
Absolutely. And I'm all for making things accessible and realistic. So I think, the traffic light system is not perfect.
What's that?
You didn't know about that, did just the yeah. Emma
Go
can
on, there you
explain.
go.
I'm colourblind. Does that make a difference?
Oh,
Can
yeah.
you see red, green?
No. Red, brown and green. I'm colourblind.
This will do. No, it will. Yeah, everything will just look the same. So unfortunately,
Crikey,
that
what
won't.
do you do about that? They
Well,
haven't
hold on,
thought about that.
What is the traffic light thing?
They have to put it on the front of food now, and like processed food, to tell you how many grams of fat
I didn't
and
know that.
and salt
Yeah,
and
fibre.
all the different sort of.
So
the
it'd just be
So
a
green
colour.
is good, obviously. Red is like usually.
It would just be a colour, or will it be a number next to it?
It will be a colour with a number inside
Right, so what
it.
colour should you be looking for?
What do you think?
Green.
Yep.
Go. You like that?
So proud of
What would amber mean, though?
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, okay. And red? Don't answer that. Self-explanatory, that one, isn't it?
But those like easy meals, microwave meals. I mean,
Yeah, and you can add to them. So you could portion them out between 2 people if you're a couple, and then add a ton of, salad, leafy greens, vegetables, that kind of thing, to bulk them out so they're a bit more filling, and also to give you a bit of extra fibre.
Do you know what? That is such an unbelievable, obvious thing to say. I've never heard anyone say that before.
yeah, you pimp it.
Yeah.
You pimp it with the good fresh
Usually
stuff.
it goes ping, you take it out of the microwave, you pull back the salad and you eat it.
All that
And it
brown
won't-
food.
yeah. Yeah. And it's not...
Well, I can't see the colour, so... Brown, red, everything. It's all the same.
Yeah, but like people I know who have ready meals, not mentioning you. I'm not going to mention you.
Who?
I'm not going to mention him.
George?
No,
Where's
we
ready
cook
meal?
everything fresh. We do, but we batch
You're
cook
really
as
good.
well because it's like to get a bit more organised, especially if you're a mum, your family, dad, you're cooking for everybody.
Yeah.
It's good to do the batch cooking.
And also, I think there is a lot to be said for convenience foods. If it means that you are going to eat something and it's regular and, it doesn't kind of impact on your life too much and you can add to it, then, it ticks a lot of boxes.
I did this thing years ago for men's fitness where I had to get a six-pack. And I was meant to get it in about 3 months. It took me about 7. But I had a nutritionist, dietitian, trainer, etc. And the one thing I took from that was for all meals, including breakfast, and it was all to do with the hands, I would have 2 pieces of protein the size of my palms, 2 fistfuls of veg, and 2 thumbs of fat.
Amazing.
As a golden rule.
Yeah.
And on the back of that, I lost, big thumbs, I lost, I think, about 15% body fat.
See, it's simple.
Yeah,
people overcomplicate this
totally.
stuff. We're they're talking about supplements and, how much of this do I need? And it's like, actually, you just need to pull the big levers and get those basics down.
Yeah.
And did you get your six-pack? Because you have to be very, very lean, right?
Yeah, I got down to 12% body fat.
Christ.
So if I breathed out like that, and I'll take a picture. But there was no
With the right lighting.
I couldn't move. But there was no like they didn't play about with the picture at all.
Wow.
As it was, is how it was.
You're ripped.
Impressive. How long did it last?
Well,
Because that's hard work,
about
right?
an hour. Well, it lasted.
You went straight to a wedding, didn't
I
you?
went straight to a wedding in Florence, and then because I didn't realise, it's a long, boring story which I've told before, but because I was doing about 3 litres of water a day while I was training, that just stopped. And then I didn't realise, but I became massively dehydrated and had vertigo for like a year. But no one ever said, how much water are you drinking? And that was the problem in the end.
How bizarre.
That
See,
wasn't-
again, simple. It's the simple
Yeah.
stuff, right?
Yeah.
Protein.
Yeah.
Why do we need more as we get older?
So it's great for everything, for muscle building, for your hormones. Every single cell in your body is made up of some kind of protein. But as we get older, we actually can't break it down as much, so we don't metabolize it as well in the stomach. So to kind of buffer that, we say that a little bit more is,
So it's fine you
Wise.
can't break it down. It's just it gets expelled then.
Well, no, it's more that you don't absorb as
Right.
much. So you still are, passing it through you. But you're not getting those amino acids.
The benefits from it.
Yeah.
Protein shakes, men will be listening going, well, I have a protein shake. How much more protein does a protein shake give you?
It depends. You'd have to look at the label. A scoop is usually about 20
Well,
grams.
that's good, right? Protein
Yeah.
shake does its job.
It does. And I think it's a brilliant convenience food. It is ultra-processed. It isn't whole foods. And we're kind of trying to move people away from ultra-processed and towards eating, real whole foods. But, it ticks a lot of boxes. I use it. You do, don't you?
I do. So I wanted to talk to you about that. So because I have my smoothie in the morning and I do a little bit of goat's milk now because I think that's supposed to be higher in protein than cow's milk, but you'll probably correct me.
I don't know about that, actually. Don't know.
Have you tried potato milk?
I would say they're probably about the same.
Potato milk.
That's a real thing, potato milk. Have you
Yes,
tried that?
it is. I
don't
have
know how you
not
milk a
tried
potato.
it.
I don't want potato milk. Too starchy.
I know. I just, yeah.
Because I want to move on to other milks with you because that's been a big question as well that's come in. But I do the goat's milk, I do coconut milk, but I use Plenish, which I like 'cause it's just 3 ingredients. It hasn't got any of the extra nasty stuff and thickening agents and stabilisers and stuff in it. Then I'll do a banana, a couple of berries, collagen powder, creatine, loads of nuts and seeds and stuff.
Creatine we need to.
Yeah. And then I use cacao. Is that a processed meal because I'm breaking it down? Because I'm
No.
blitzing it, because I'm changing the fruit from its whole form into...
No, it's great. You're still getting that fibre.
Okay.
Maybe you would... The only thing I would say with smoothies is sometimes they don't fill you up as much as
Yeah.
obviously eating all
Yeah.
of that food. But no, they tick a lot of boxes. That's a lot of nutrition in one easy go, right?
Yeah, it's super easy to go. It's quite
Too
a
much?
big old... It's quite a big old portion, but then sometimes I feel like my blood sugar crashes afterwards.
Do you drink it really slowly? Because you should savour it like a meal rather than... I think there's a kind of
I smash
propensity
it.
to just go...
No, it's delicious and I just smash it down.
Yeah.
I put chia seeds, everything in it, but it's like I do drink it quite quickly. So just slow
Take
that
your
down.
time.
Okay.
Treat it like a meal. 20
It
minutes.
take maybe like 3 hours. That'd be perfect.
It's just one of my favourite things when I've done a
Do you
workout.
put ice cubes in it?
No, I don't like anything too cold.
Oh,
I don't like
stick it-
frozen
I don't.
fruit. I don't like frozen fruit or anything. That's very personal for people, though. People put all of their fruit in the freezer
yeah.
rather than using ice cubes, so like frozen berries and stuff. I like it all kind
Frozen
of room
collie.
temperature.
Creatine.
Yep.
Now, men swear by it. You're going down the gym, you've got creatine.
Women too.
Yeah, it's
Can I
huge,
tell you
isn't
what I
it?
think creatine does for men?
Go on.
It adds water to a muscle to make it look bigger.
Yeah,
Is that
you look
right?
more hench. That's how it works. It attracts water. It is one of the most researched supplements there is. It's really gaining traction. I mean, it's been around forever, right? But it is really gaining traction, I think, because people want a quick fix. But, it's very safe, good for men and women.
Good for you?
Yeah, as in it can help with performance, so you can get those last couple of reps out, maybe. Good for stamina. It does make you look more toned, can do, because of that water attraction. But then
Attraction or retention?
Well, it attracts, and as long as you're taking it, retains it,
Okay.
right? So if you stop taking it, you kind of saturate your muscles. Some people do like a loading phase.
Yeah.
But the issue potentially with that is that it can cause some kind of gut disturbance, so bloating, bit of nausea. So 3 to 5 grams a day.
Is that one?
It's tiny. It's a really
Okay.
small amount.
Oh, I use like one of the little scoop that's in it.
Yeah,
It's
Yeah.
quite
That's what I assume you
loaded.
do, right?
Yeah,
It's quite loaded though. I put quite a lot in. Whack.
it's about a teaspoon, I suppose.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah.
maybe.
Do we create creatine?
We do, and you can get it from red meat, usually animal foods.
Oh, okay.
So anyone who's vegan or veggie probably could do with a bit more of it.
That's good advice.
Yeah, really.
And
good advice.
there's also some new kind of data showing that it potentially helps with cognition, so brain fog. So great for
Us
menopause or
ladies,
peri.
midlife
Yeah.
ladies.
And men.
Yeah,
Creatine helps
midlife.
with- Yeah.
Yeah, because the thing is, we were talking to Dr. Jeff Foster about testosterone sort of deficiency in men, and it does manifest in
I had no
brain
idea about
fog
that.
and eye problems and all that sort of
I
stuff.
had
So-
no
Yeah, it's
idea
very
about that.
similar, isn't it?
Yeah, totally
No
is.
idea. I
totally
think
is.
loads of men listening would have been
Yeah.
like, what?
Yeah. Can we talk about milks then? Because this is a whole thing with my ladies that listen and watch and all of that. It's
What
like
about my ladies?
your ladies too.
Okay.
He's got a lot of ladies.
Don't leave
Bet
me
he
a
alone.
has.
lot of ladies. So you're going off and you're getting your matcha, you're getting your coffee, and you're having your kind of barista, creamy, delicious cappuccinos and all of those kind of little lattes and stuff. I think there was a craze where everybody's just having the barista milk, but it's got a lot of oil in it, doesn't it?
Well, it doesn't have a lot. It's got a little bit.
Does it? I'm
mean-
like, it's got loads of oil.
No, if you look at those plant milks, that's what you're talking about.
Yeah.
They have a little bit of rapeseed oil in them to almost
Froth it up.
Yeah, exactly. It helps with the mouthfeel. It helps with the texture.
It's also got about that many. It's got like loads of different ingredients. When you look at the back,
Yeah,
there's
some
just
of them
like
do.
gum and stabilizers, and you're like,
yeah. So it's ultra processed.
Right.
But I think there's a real kind of backlash against rapeseed oil and seed oils. I think what we need to be really cognizant of is that there's no robust evidence showing that it causes inflammation, which is what most people say. So a little bit, if you can, bear the thought of a little bit of rapeseed oil in your milk, it's absolutely fine. But like you said, with Plenish, they don't have any, it's
three
just the bearing.
ingredients.
Yeah, exactly. The only thing is with those organic milks like that, they're not fortified, so you're not getting any calcium, any vitamin D. And for all of us, both men and women, we really need to be thinking about bone health. And milk, whether it's cow's milk or plant milk, can be a really good source of that calcium. So
Right.
if you are having your
Smoothie?
organic
Oh, yeah.
milk, you really do need to think about getting your calcium from elsewhere.
okay.
Because we need 1,200 milligrams over the age of 50. It really ramps up
Men and women.
men and women, yeah. And yeah, so
So it has to say fortified on it in order for it to be supercharged with the vitamin, with the calcium.
absolutely. So the net benefit, I think, because I think everyone just wants to kind of have a quick, easy life, is to go for those fortified plant milks. Because I would rather have a little bit of rapeseed oil and look after my bones personally.
See, that's brilliant. I didn't know. I was just thinking that it was oil and I was drinking oil. And if I'm trying to not add extra calories into my day, that let's knock the oil on the head. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that's really
You've
interesting.
learned something today, haven't you,
Yeah, no,
Lisa?
I always learn something. Emma's just full of knowledge, but I feel like, okay, so I guess we shouldn't talk about brands, but just look at labels and just be a bit more
Why
aware.
can't you talk about brands?
Well, is there a plant milk brand that you recommend?
Oh no,
Yeah.
no, just keep it. Just
Okay.
have a look. I think everyone could do with looking at labels a little bit more and
Yeah.
just knowing what they're having.
Yeah.
But I totally get that people might not want a long list of ingredients. It's got emulsifiers in there.
Yeah.
There is some kind of
Funky
negative
stuff that shouldn't be in
some
there.
negative research around that. Yeah. So if it's all about choice, and it's all about making the decision that's best for you. So if you categorically do not want to do that, go with your organic. But yeah, just start thinking about where you're getting the other stuff from.
Or just have cow's milk.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, I don't have an intolerance to cow's milk. Some people do,
Yeah.
so you obviously be aware of that. What I was doing is having half milk, half water.
Oh yeah, you do that. What's that all about?
You've had a couple of those matches of
Have
half
I?
milk and half water, yeah.
I didn't want that.
I don't think you liked it either.
I've
Do
got
you
a
not love
problem-
what she's having?
I've got a problem with cow's milk.
Have you?
I just don't believe they all come from cows.
Oh.
Well, I'll tell you why, right? There's billions of supermarkets and corner shops and mini
Yeah.
marts. And every day they're getting litres and litres of milk. I just don't think there's that many cows in the world.
Well, there are. There's
I
loads
don't
of
think
cows.
there are.
I mean, I guess the farming practices are not ideal. That's why a lot of people don't want to drink it.
So is it dyed?
I don't think so.
I was told that there's some red in it sometimes.
Conspiracy I don't, not that I'm aware of. But I think, 70% of the global population is lactose intolerant. So lots of people can't tolerate it. But if you can, it's a great form of protein,
Yeah.
calcium, vitamin D.
What do you
Oh, sorry, go on.
What do you recommend to your followers? Because you have a lot of Greek yogurt, so that's cow's milk, effectively, isn't it?
Yeah.
So as an alternative, if somebody is lactose or doesn't want to have the dairy.
Yeah, it's such a good question. So usually a soya alternative,
Okay.
soya yogurt.
Does that give men breasts?
No.
I was told that does.
Yeah, that's
Is
a
that
real
nonsense?
myth.
Is
yeah.
it?
Yeah. There was one study that came from, and the guy in question was literally mainlining it. So day in, day out. And that's where that whole soy boy thing has come from.
Yeah.
But no, it doesn't.
It's weird how those things stick, isn't it? They
I
really
know.
do.
My head. Sugar.
Yes.
Right? I know loads of people that I'm cutting all sugar out of my diet. It's horrific. It kills you. It gives you cancer. How bad is sugar?
I mean, we all know that we should be eating less sugar, right? So 6 tablespoons of added sugars a day is don't go over that. But yeah, I think once you start talking about cutting out all sugars, you're not going to be doing it because they're hidden in lots of different things. But also I think it makes people quite obsessive about sugar. And so the minute you say that you're not having something, for lots of people, they can't stop thinking about it, right?
Yeah.
So I think, my approach is always just keep it realistic. Make it work for you. Yes, we need to be eating less, but there is there's no reason to remove it entirely.
Okay.
You've got to live a little, right?
I totally agree with you.
Sugar
And
co-
do you get it in wine? I think you do.
Yeah, you do. That's
So-
the thing. It's in all alcohol.
It's
and
in
quite
a lot
massive,
of stuff. It's in a lot. It's hidden in ketchup and things like that.
Even in milk, there's sugar, right?
Yeah. Well, I mean, there's natural sugars. Those
Right.
aren't added sugars.
Okay.
Yeah. So lactose is like a natural milk sugar.
Okay.
But yeah, so we wouldn't be including that in those 6. It's more like the your white table sugar that you're adding into your teas and coffees and stuff like
And
that.
biscuits and chocolate
Yeah.
and all those yummy
yeah, I eat
things.
chocolate, yeah.
Because there's another question we had was sugar cravings, like how to deal with them. It's like, I think for me, it's like when I haven't eaten enough in the daytime, that's when they kind of hit me mid-afternoon, right?
Yeah. Yeah, and I think that goes back to the fasting. For a lot of people, they're fasting, they're trying to, minimise, and then they just, by the end of the day, they can't keep it up. So they fall headfirst in that biscuit barrel or whatever their thing is. So again, I think fueling yourself from whenever you want to start eating, but fueling yourself really well can really help. So it manages your blood glucose, getting in those plenty of protein, getting in plenty of fibre. It really helps to regulate your blood glucose so that you're not having these kind of mad peaks and troughs.
Crazy spikes, where
Yeah.
you just energy levels as well. You want that more sustained.
Well, you can't think straight, can you, when you're kind of
Yeah,
up or down?
Yeah. I mean, for me, I just got to avoid tea in the afternoon because that is a gateway for me into sugar. It's like a gateway
Is it
drug,
like a
cup
sort of
tea.
you
It's
associate
just
it with?
pure association.
Yeah.
It's just a cup of
Well, you have
tea,
a cup of tea
and
and a
I
biscuit.
need
Yeah.
something
My
sweet with
mum's
it.
like that.
I need a bar of chocolate or
I have an
some-
apple with it, which puts a lot of people off.
Oh, I don't know because it's I should probably have the tea and then have an apple with a bit of like almond butter or something like that. But then that just goes against my whole don't snack in the afternoon.
Yeah.
Do you know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Yeah,
But
but
sometimes
you
you've
can't-
got to surrender. Sometimes.
When I was on that fitness thing, like, my afternoon snack would be 2 rice cakes with peanut butter,
Nice,
and that would fill me up.
nice, fill you up.
Yeah, wow.
It's very controlled.
Well, there's a whole tub of peanut butter.
And a really big rice
The
cracker.
biggest rice cake size of this table.
Okay,
And that
so
was
we've
it.
done fasting, protein, seed milks, inflammation.
Oh, yeah. It's such a nebulous term, isn't it? It's
Yeah.
like, what does it actually mean?
Yeah.
There's a lot of talk about inflammaging, which is this kind of low-level chronic inflammation that is associated with lots of chronic diseases like cancer, potentially, obesity, type 2 diabetes, all those kind of metabolic diseases. So, if you're trying to kind of think about an anti-inflammatory diet, it would be the med diet, and that comes up a lot. So it's the most researched diet out there. It's not really a diet; it's more like a pattern of eating. It's based not on pizza and pasta. It's based on how they ate in Crete. I think it's Crete in the 70s.
I've heard this, yeah.
Yeah. So lots of seasonal produce, lots of fresh stuff, all the stuff that we've been talking about. Lots of fibre, legumes, oily fish, olive oil. Making olive oil your kind of primary cooking oil.
And dressing on, olive oil on your salads.
I think
and
you
vegetables.
used the word there that a lot of people get scared of, diet. It should just be a way of living, right? If
Yeah.
you change your lifestyle and you change your eating habits, it's forever. So it's not a diet, because diet sounds like a fad, right? I'm going to do this for 6 weeks. But it
Yeah.
shouldn't be like that.
Yeah, it's actually a Greek word, and the real meaning of it is a way of eating. And we've kind of it's been taken by the diet industry and
Ruined.
ruined.
Yeah, it has.
Ruined, exactly.
Yeah.
Because it just gets in your
Like
head.
carbs.
And then
Maybe they should both go to the same PR company.
Yeah, exactly.
carbs and diet.
Yeah.
You want something that is sustainable, that you can stick to. So like a 6-day body blitz just doesn't wash, does it? Because the minute you stop.
Yeah, there was a phase where people were having juices. Do you remember that?
Yeah,
I
they
did
still
that.
do.
Yeah. But then you lose weight over like 5 days or 7 days, and then you go, brilliant, I'm £4 lighter, and then I go and celebrate and get a curry.
Yeah. Most of what you've lost is actually water weight.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
I mean, it's good to do that every now and then to give your body a reset.
I knew you were going to ask me that.
Sorry.
No, it's good. It's a really good question because it's the kind of thing that people really think about, isn't it? I personally, if it floats your boat, it's not going to do you a massive amount of harm, probably. But with my nutritionist hat on, I wouldn't recommend, a juicing
You don't
diet.
get any protein in your juice. It's
Exactly.
just you're changing
Or fibre.
No, that's the thing. So, like your new book, the 30-gram plan. Yes. 30-gram plan.
Yeah.
So we're talking protein, fibre, and
Plants.
plants.
Yeah. So the fibre and the plants are kind of connected because fibre you can only really get from plants. So it's based on 30 grams of protein per meal, 30 grams of fibre a day, which is the recommendation as we talked about, and 30 different plants a week.
30 different plants a week.
So that's so good
I've
for
been
your
living in a
gut.
greenhouse. What do you mean? 30 different plants a week.
Yeah. So herbs, spices, different vegetables, different fruit.
Yep.
Yeah, it's got to be varied to feed the gut microbiome.
Imagine if you have
That's tough, right?
Yeah, see, it sounds tough, but actually once you, this is your homework, write down, keep a kind of tally of what you are eating, and you will actually find probably that you're eating a lot more than you think. So if you had like a bag of, I don't know, what's your breakfast when you eat at 2? Do you have a breakfasty type of thing?
My breakfast at 2:00 is usually like a chicken and rice salad from Marks and Sparks or sushi.
Okay. So you could add to that, couldn't you?
I can eat it all.
You can buy, really? So you'd only eat some of it?
I'll eat that, but if you added to it, that would be the end of it.
What, even like a bag of mixed leaves? Different colours?
I find them boring.
edamame beans. Those
Edamame,
little
I
ones.
like that. Edamame beans.
Edamame
Yeah.
in.
Loads of protein in there, loads of fibre.
Okay.
But like, say on a weekend, on a Saturday, when you do have a breakfast at home.
I don't.
Well, no, when you cook some of your epic breakfast, right?
I don't. Yeah, but I don't eat them.
Don't you?
I mean, I cook them for other people. I don't just cook them and leave them. Come and have a look at this. What do you think of that?
Oh right, I thought you
Yeah,
went through a
I
bit
made
of
a great one
stage
yesterday,
where you
but
had
no.
Oh right, okay.
Look at the unhappiness on your face.
Yeah, I love food so much, and it makes me sad that you don't.
But I like
have the same
I
joy.
like because otherwise, if I sit down and have breakfast, I'm sitting down for half an hour. Say, do you want a cup of tea? I'll make
Wasting
another
time.
cup. I could be in the garden. I could be mowing the lawn, take the dog for a walk. You know.
It's interesting because coffee is one of your plant points. Olive oil is another.
Yeah.
So, it
There's
builds up
28 to go.
Capers? Would you ever eat
What's that,
caper?
nuts? Capy nuts?
No, it's like a
Capers?
sort of olive.
Those little tiny,
Olives?
tiny, very sharp.
I'm not an olive fan. What did I have just upstairs that was nice?
Yeah, cashew
Pistachios?
nuts.
No, the other thing. The dates.
Oh yeah, did
Oh yeah,
Dates.
dates. They count.
Yeah.
So, and instead of having like buying one type of nut, buy a bag of mixed nuts, and you've instantly got 4. Instead of seeds,
simple, so
one
simple,
seed,
see?
you buy a mixed bag of
Sounded ignorant
seeds. You've
before,
got
but
another
now-
5.
See, it's
Now we're sounding
educational.
clever.
That's amazing.
Beans, don't just get your, I don't know, your bolotti beans. Get a mixed can of beans in your curry. No,
Yeah.
is that pushing
Bean
it?
curry.
I've only ever had one baked bean in my life.
Oh, I'm not a fan of baked beans.
Don't
They
need
make me
baked
gag.
beans. They've got loads of
Yeah.
sugar.
But
and
they
shit
would
in them.
count. They do actually count, believe it or not.
I'm quite partial to a baked bean. I'm just old school. I used to love it with
That's the clip for this episode. I'm quite partial to.
How do you eat the rainbow, which is kind of what you want to encourage, I guess, on a budget? Then, so
What did you say? What phrase you use?
Eat the rainbow.
Never
So
heard
it's,
of that.
it's having that. You've just said 30 different.
Oh, that's called the rainbow, is it?
Well, it's just eating. You want to kind of have as much colourful, fresh
Oh, okay.
food as possible. So
I thought you coined that phrase yourself.
no, I can't claim
Sadly.
that.
Let me.
Can't claim
I'll
that.
edit yours out and leave mine in. So let me ask you. Lisa's not mentioned the rainbow yet. How do you eat that rainbow?
On a
Good
budget.
question.
Thank you.
On a budget. So I think there's a lot to be said for going to budget supermarkets. They do brilliant nuts and seeds and things like that. Their fruit and veg is amazing. They do great. We're not talking, but if you're thinking protein, great like kilo pots of Greek yogurt. So cheap. I would buy, for example, when you are getting your fruit. Sorry,
A lot of people forget that word. It's quite difficult to remember.
Instead of getting one bag of frozen fruit, like, so for example, blueberries that you're putting into your smoothie or whatever, you buy a mixed bag. So a bag of mixed fruit, mixed seeds, mixed
Frozen,
beans,
yeah.
all the things that I've talked
keep
about
it very
It's
already.
like
Keep it
flaxseed,
food.
right? Is that great for you?
Yeah.
Amazing.
Is it amazing?
Yeah, it really
Why?
is.
What does it do?
Loads of fibre in it.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's really. I mean, it's done.
Tablespoon, grind, buy them whole, grind them up, keep them in the fridge.
Keep them in the fridge.
Yeah, because they oxidise
stop
quite.
it.
Yeah, once you've kind of exposed that oil that's inside them.
I buy them already milled, already
Oh
blended.
yeah, but it's so much cheaper to just buy
What's the matter with you?
whole linseeds. What are you doing?
Well, because it's got walnuts, it's got Brazil nuts, it's got a whole
Oh,
mix of different,
okay.
and it's all
Where you
milled
get your
down.
stuff? Waitrose.
I'll give you my dealer. I'll give you my milled seed
Right.
dealer.
Could I just take a flaxseed and eat,
Linwoods.
put it in-
You might be a bit like
Oh, is it?
yeah.
No,
you
you
can buy
someone-
flaxseed oil.
Has someone not come up with like a gummy bear of flaxseed?
No, not yet.
But they're full of sugar.
They're good for you, one a day. No, but not an actual gummy. You know, like we're talking about creatine, so someone's invented little creatine gummies, right?
Okay.
I just wondered if someone's come up with a creatine
But
flaxseed.
as Emma's saying, you want the real
The real deal.
because then that flaxseed's really good for your gut as well, isn't
Yeah,
it?
it
In
fills
its
you
raw
up.
I meant the
form.
real deal, but in a tablet form or
I don't
something.
think you'd be able to get it all condensed into that.
You wouldn't. And it's a bit like creatine. You can buy creatine capsules and actually you have to take a shitload of them, right?
Oh,
To
do you?
actually get, yeah.
I thought it was
yeah.
one a day.
Again, check your labels. See what the dose is.
I wonder if it's not working.
I'm really hungry talking about
Are you?
talking food, yeah.
Flax is also really good for women who are, if anyone's listening and, wants to include a few more kind of phytoestrogens. So that can help potentially some, not all women, with things like hot flushes and stuff like that.
Okay.
Flax is a really good source for that.
Emma wrote a big chunk of my in the nutritional section of my book about phytoestrogens and eating well in menopause and perimenopause, because there's some evidence that in some Asian countries that,
Yeah.
that say Japanese or women don't struggle or suffer as much with menopausal symptoms
that's
due
interesting.
to their diet, due to their sort of lots of rich in not just omegas but also the soy and,
yeah.
and sweet potatoes and things like that. That's what you encourage with the phytoestrogens. You're not saying that it completely gets rid of your symptoms, but it can sit well alongside somebody who is taking HRT or somebody who doesn't want to take
Exactly.
HRT.
Yeah.
You can boost those levels with phytoestrogen, so plant-based estrogen.
Yeah, for 50% of women, it seems to help. 50% doesn't. But still, you're getting all that fibre, all that goodness.
Yeah.
Our time is up.
Oh, wow.
I mean, it's longer than
Jeez
we planned for, so that's only a
Louise.
good thing.
Okay, that's amazing.
Before we let you go, your books, how many have you got out?
So I've got the Perimenopause Solution, which is aimed at women, and I've got this 30 grand plan, which is out May the 1st, and that's for everybody.
Okay, and there'll be people listening and be thinking, I need to find you on Instagram. How do they do that?
At Emma.Bardwell.
That's anything else you want to give a little mention to?
I think that's it. EmmaBardwell.com is my website.
Amazing,
Yeah,
amazing, and you
thank
can
you.
help women and men. So that's the most important thing. You're a registered nutritionist, and you can help with all that sort of.
And do you do like online Zoomy chats and all that sort of stuff?
At the moment, I'm not, because I'm actually in the middle of writing. Well, I'm about to start writing my next book, so I'm not doing one-to-ones at the moment.
It's incredible that you finish one and start another. That's the best way to do it. Apparently,
Do you
it's
enjoy
mad.
it?
I mean, I said never again, and then literally 2 weeks later, I'm like, yeah, all right.
Brilliant. I mean, if
I'd love to be
You got a
right,
book deal, babe.
I've got a 2-minute attention span. I couldn't handle it. If you need someone to do the forward, let me know, but that's the maximum. I can
Great,
do.
you can do a little quote for me.
All right.
Could you manage that?
Yeah, eating is good. How about that? You can have that one. Don't eat shit food.
yeah,
Done.
No, I've got one for
Essentially,
you.
that's what we're saying, right?
yeah, don't
Eat
eat
a
In a
rainbow
nutshell.
a day.
a week.
Okay, hold on. Eat a rainbow a week. All right? You
He's,
like
learned,
that?
he's learned something.
He has learned
I
something.
think we've all learnt today.
We really
Thank you
have.
so much for coming in.
Thank you for coming.
Pleasure.
in.
Thanks for having me.
Thank you for answering so many of the questions. I mean, we could just talk. This it's like a. This,
We'll do a part 2.
we'd have to do
We'll
a
do
part
that. We're doing that
two.
with a few experts.
Yeah,
We'll do that. We'll
it's
get you in
really
a couple of
nice.
months. Is that all right?
Because
Absolutely.
inevitably they'll listen to this and we'll listen to this again, and then we'll be like, oh, there's another question.
Yeah, we
When's
went
your-
on-
When's
yeah.
your book meant to be out?
May the
May
1st.
the 1st.
Oh, fine. All right, we'll get you in after that.
Great.
Amazing.
Done.
Good stuff.
Thanks.
Should we have the second one in the third one in the bag by then?
How much,
So
have you,
yes,
how much have you written of that book?
Oh, just the proposal
that's good. It gives you the structure.
Sorry, hold on.
of the third one.
Yeah, the new May the 1st.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, no,
That's
that's
finished.
done. That's done and dusted.
right, okay.
You can. That's available for pre-order,
Oh, is it?
believe it or not.
Okay, go pre-order that now. But
Do
the
it.
other one, you don't know when it's coming out.
No,
Okay,
sorry.
that's all right.
I reckon next year, early next year.
We've got a
Yeah,
title for it.
I can't say.
No, work in progress. It's work in- yeah.
Andy Goldstein's Rainbow Diet.
God, I'll
Change
pitch it.
it.
I'll pitch it.
Stick it in.
Penguin, what do you think?
I'll be on the front looking like Zippy and Bungle. Oh, different rainbow. Fine, okay.
With all the puppies in your hands. No, Andy, it's the wrong brief.
Puppets. Is that what they were?
Oh, it's been good though, right?
Unbelievable.
Really, really, really
Yeah.
good. Thank you so much, Emma, for coming in. Andy, proud of you. You've learnt so much today.
Thanks,
so
thanks for
I-
coming in as well.
Thank you for coming in. No,
Whoa.
but genuinely, thank you for coming in because he was on
Yeah.
he was laying down, couldn't move earlier. There was a big panic. I was like,
There
Emma.
was no panic.
No, I said,
You were the
Emma.
panicker.
I always panic.
I know.
Emma, he might not be able to move. He's on his deathbed. He's pulled a muscle in his
done
back.
really well.
He's laying
If
down.
I wasn't on national radio today-
ibuprofen off his nut.
Yeah, if I wasn't 4 till 7 drive time every day,
You would have pulled a plug on this.
well, I might have at the time, but now I'm here, I'm sitting there, I'm not.
Yeah,
moving,
you're
it's
all right,
fine.
aren't you? It's gonna be
good,
fine.
It's great.
Just got to get you out of that chair.
I'm
Well,
taking this.
it's
with
got
me.
wheels so we can wheel him out of the studio.
Can you take this on the underground this year? This is the only one. Don't move. Careful, my back. What? What are you doing?
He's off.
Get him off. Thank you for listening.
She's taking me off, everyone.
Make sure you subscribe. Make sure you come back next week. We
we
adore you. Thank you so much for listening. And yeah, we will be back. At least I will be. And you will be crashing down the
I'll be
stairs.
intensive care. Thanks for that. Really helped, Lise. Really appreciate that.
Thank you.
Beautiful.
Amazing.